Desert wind whispers talas of Queen Bilqis, ruler of Sheba. Her kingdom, vast and rich, known for gold and feared armies, secrets guarded closely, power absolute, or so it seemed. History remembers her for a meeting, a turning point. Her path crossed with Prophet Solomon's, a clash of worlds. Not a war of swords, but a battle of wisdom and pride. Truth versus tradition, hearts awakening against old habits. The story begins not in a palace, but with a missing bird. The desert shimmers, heat rising off the golden sands. Bilqis sits on her throne, surveying her domain. A messenger arrives, bearing news from distant lands. Bilqis listens intently, her expression unreadable. The hoopoe flies across the desert, a tiny speck against the sky. Solomon's court is bustling with activity, a hive of purpose. Solomon questions his advisors, seeking the hoopoe's whereabouts. A sense of unease settles over the assembly. The hoopoe returns, bearing extraordinary news. A distant land, a queen, a magnificent throne, but they worship the sun, not Allah, the hoopoe reports. Solomon listens, his eyes filled with contemplation. A connection sparks between two distant worlds, one devoted to the sun, the other to the Creator. Her throne room is opulent, reflecting her kingdom's wealth. She weighs their counsel, her mind sharp and calculating. The sun beats down on Sheba, a symbol of their faith. Solomon's city gleams in the distance, a beacon of belief. He prepares a letter, words carefully chosen and powerful. A call to abandon pride, to submit to the one true God. The letter is sealed, entrusted to a swift messenger. It journeys across the lands, carrying Solomon's message. Bilqis receives the letter, her expression unchanging. She reads the words, considering their weight and meaning. They advocate for war, a show of Sheba's might. Bilqis raises a hand, silencing their battle cries. She chooses a different path, a test of Solomon's intentions. Lavish gifts are prepared, a tempting display of wealth. Jewels gleam, silks shimmer, gold glitters brightly. The gifts are sent, carried by a caravan of camels. Bilqis watches them depart, her plans set in motion. She believes wealth can sway an ordinary king. Solomon receives the gifts, his expression unmoved. He sees them for what they are, a test of his character. The gifts are promptly returned, untouched and unwanted. Solomon's disinterest in material possessions is clear. Bilqis receives the returned gifts, her surprise evident. Her plan has failed. Solomon is not easily swayed. She must now face him directly. A queen to a king. Preparations are made for a journey to Jerusalem. Bilqis gathers her retinue, a display of her power. She leaves Sheba, a queen on a mission of truth. The desert stretches before her, a path to the unknown. Her heart is filled with questions, her mind open to change. The journey begins, a step towards destiny. She hopes to find wisdom, not just in power, but in faith. The sun sets on Sheba. A new dawn awaits Bilqis. Her legacy is about to be written, not in gold, but in faith. The hoopoe bird returns, landing before Prophet Solomon in Jerusalem. The bird speaks of Queen Bilqis, ruler of Sheba, a distant and wealthy land. He describes her magnificent throne, a symbol of her power and authority. But the hoopoe reveals a crucial detail. Bilqis and her people worship the sun. Solomon listens intently, his expression thoughtful and resolute. He sees this as an opportunity to guide Bilqis towards the one true God. Solomon decides against military action, choosing diplomacy instead. He dictates a letter to Bilqis, urging her to abandon pride. The letter calls on her to submit to Allah, the creator of all things. A messenger is dispatched, carrying Solomon's letter across the desert. In Sheba, Bilqis receives the letter with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She summons her advisors, wise men, and military leaders of her kingdom. Bilqis listens patiently, her mind weighing the options before her. She decides to test Solomon's intentions before committing to war. Bilqis orders the preparation of lavish gifts for Solomon. Gold, jewels, and precious artifacts are gathered from the royal treasury. The gifts are meant to gauge Solomon's true motives. Bilqis believes that an ordinary king would be swayed by such wealth. A caravan is assembled, laden with the treasures of Sheba. The caravan sets off towards Jerusalem, a symbol of Sheba's power. In Jerusalem, Solomon receives news of the approaching caravan. He understands Bilqis's test and prepares to respond accordingly. The caravan arrives, presenting the gifts to Solomon. Solomon examines the treasures with detached curiosity. He makes it clear that he is not interested in material possessions. Solomon orders the gifts to be returned to Bilqis. They return to Sheba, bearing the news of Solomon's rejection. Bilqis receives the messengers with a thoughtful expression. She realizes that Solomon is not an ordinary king. His power extends beyond material wealth and military might. Bilqis understands that a different approach is needed. She decides to journey to Jerusalem herself. Bilqis prepares for her journey, gathering a retinue of advisors. She seeks to understand Solomon's wisdom firsthand. The queen embarks on her journey, leaving Sheba behind. Her caravan travels across the desert, towards the unknown. Bilqis contemplates the mysteries of faith and power. She wonders what awaits her in Jerusalem. The journey is long and arduous, testing her resolve. Bilqis remains determined to seek the truth. She hopes to find answers to her questions. The caravan approaches Jerusalem, the city of Solomon. Bilqis gazes upon the city with anticipation. She prepares to meet the man who has challenged her beliefs. Bilqis enters Jerusalem, ready to face Solomon. She is about to embark on a journey of self-discovery. The queen anticipates a profound transformation. Her encounter with Solomon will change her forever. Bilqis is ready to confront her own pride. She seeks wisdom over tradition. The stage is set for a meeting of minds and hearts. Bilqis, having received Solomon's returned gifts, prepares for her journey to Jerusalem. A long caravan snakes its way across the desert, laden with riches and her royal guard. Bilqis, veiled and regal, rides atop a magnificent camel, her expression thoughtful. The caravan arrives at the outskirts of Solomon's grand palace, a city of shimmering gold. Bilqis is led through the palace gardens, filled with exotic plants and singing birds. She approaches a courtyard, where the floor appears to be a pool of crystal-clear water. Bilqis hesitates, thinking she must lift her skirts to avoid wetting them. She raises her skirts, revealing her legs, and steps cautiously onto the water. She realizes it's solid, a flawless glass floor with fish swimming beneath. A close-up on Bilqis's face, showing surprise and a hint of confusion. Solomon watches her from a distance, a knowing smile on his face. Bilqis is led into a grand hall, where a familiar sight awaits her. Her own throne, identical to the one she left in Sheba, stands before her. Bilqis stares in disbelief, questioning how it could have arrived before her. Solomon approaches her, his presence commanding and serene. "This is but a glimpse of the power of the one true God," Solomon says gently. He gestures towards the heavens, a vast expanse of blue sky. The sun, the moon, the stars, all are his creations, subservient to his will. Solomon speaks of Allah, the creator of all that exists, seen and unseen. He explains that worship should be directed only to the Creator, not to creation. Bilqis listens intently, her gaze shifting from Solomon to her throne. She remembers her ancestors, their traditions, and her own unquestioning faith. A montage of images flashes through her mind. Sun, worship, golden idols, rituals. She sees the faces of her people, their unwavering belief in the sun god. But now, she sees them with new eyes, questioning the foundation of their faith. Bilqis looks at Solomon, his eyes filled with wisdom and compassion. She looks at her throne, a symbol of her power and earthly dominion. She looks at the glass floor, a reminder of the illusions that can deceive us. A tear rolls down her cheek, a tear of realization and humility. Bilqis takes a deep breath, her heart filled with a newfound clarity. "I have long followed the ways of my ancestors," she says, her voice trembling. "But I see now that I have been blind to the truth." She turns away from her throne, a symbol of her past pride. She faces Solomon, her eyes shining with a new light. "I submit to the Lord of all worlds," Bilqis declares, her voice clear and strong. Solomon smiles, his heart filled with joy at her acceptance of the truth. Bilqis removes her veil, revealing her face, radiant with newfound faith. She kneels down, not before the sun, but before the one true God. Solomon helps her to her feet, his touch gentle and reassuring. "You have chosen the path of wisdom, Queen Bilqis," he says, "and your kingdom will be blessed for it." Bilqis stands tall, her spirit renewed, ready to lead her people towards the light. She returns to Sheba, not as a queen blinded by pride, but as a servant of Allah. She dismantles the idols and temples dedicated to the sun god. She teaches her people about the one true God, the creator of all things. Many of her people embrace the new faith, finding peace and guidance. Sheba prospers under her wise and righteous rule, guided by faith. Bilqis becomes known not for her wealth, but for her wisdom and devotion. Her story becomes a legend, a testament to the power of truth and humility. A wide shot of Sheba, now a land of faith and prosperity. The hoopoe bird, perched on a branch, chirps contentedly, its mission complete. Solomon looks towards Sheba, knowing that a seed of faith has been planted. The sun sets over Jerusalem, casting a golden glow on the city. The story of Bilqis echoes through the ages, a reminder of the path to enlightenment. A close-up on a page of an ancient text, recounting the tale of Bilqis. The words shimmer with the light of truth, inspiring generations to come. The camera pans up to the starry night sky, a symbol of the vastness of God's creation. The story ends, leaving a lasting impression of faith, wisdom, and humility.